Okay, let's talk about the next box on your task list here, which is to update the cover sheet. So there's a provided template. I'm going to show you that in just a second. And that will be used to completely describe the assessment. Again, if you are updating this, it's not going to take you a terribly long time to do. But you do need to make sure that you are using that updated template, and I'll show you in just a second how that is different from the existing one. Okay, so let me pull up an example for you here. Okay. So on the left-hand side here is the current key assessment document for this particular key assessment. So I'm just going to walk you through what you're going to do by showing you an example as I go. So this is the current one, and this one over here is the new template. So first of all, note that I need to add a title. So on my title up here, it needs to say KA8, and I'm going to list every single course where this one fits, and then the title and cover sheet. Okay? Every single cover sheet needs to have a title. So make sure that your title is there, and that, of course, should match what is here. Okay. When administered during the preparation program, this is for graduate classes. You don't have the same transitions as undergraduate. This is one for initial licensure. So you're not going to have a prior to methods or student teaching kind of transition point. But what you can say is at the beginning of the program, in the middle of the program, or at the end of the program. And we've done charts in the past where we've had to identify where these key assessments kind of reside or where they sit in the program. Those are the descriptors that we have used. Okay, so you can see this is the same. When it's administered, instrument purpose and use, that's all the same from the old to the new. The evaluation categories, indicators of assessment. Now, this is not a new section, but I am going to have to completely update this because now I have different standards down there at the bottom, so the KTS is going to completely come out. Oops. KTS is going to completely come out, and I'm going to have to go back through and ensure that all of these are still accurate, as well as pick up anything that is not already listed down here. Something else I'm going to have to do here is make sure I have listed to the subcomponent level. Just listing the standards here is not enough. So for example, sorry if this gives you a headache here. If I go all the way down here to the KTPS standards, so all of these, I'm just going to, as an example, show you this one. I'm going to pick up all of those in tasks, KTPS, and so under the 2, I'm going to have a 2, A, B, C, E, H, I, G, and J, just for the standard 2. They do need to be all the way down to the subcomponent level. So make sure that you are doing that. Okay. This section will need to completely be updated with all that information. The information to the candidates is going to stay the same, unless, of course, you need to tweak this information to meet the other expectations that have come up through the linked indicators. So this may need some adjustment, but it may not. So just make sure that your instructions align with the way that you're evaluating the students. Okay, so this then brings us to this section that is new. This professional skills addressed is a new section on the template. So in your existing cover sheet, you will need to add a section for this. Okay. So I'm just going to copy right from here over into my new section here. So that I have the instructions for how to do that. Now, these professional skills, these are the 6 areas that CAPE requires for our graduate programs. And they shouldn't be unfamiliar to you. You've probably seen them on other documents, other charts that we have worked on up to this point. For now, though, we need to include some specifics in this section about how this particular key assessment meets these professional skills. Now, all of this is going to really go back to our charts that we did back in early spring, or maybe it was mid-spring semester. We did these assessment schedules. Some of you worked more closely with those than others, but these assessment schedules were intended to represent when we were offering specific courses and when the assessments were going to be in place. But a part of that was which of those skills those key assessments measured. So I'm going to pull up an assessment schedule for you as an example. This is the middle school assessment schedule. And the course that I am working on is right here, this ENG 447, 474, 874, that literacy project. So when I see that here, I'm going to scroll over and I see that this particular course, this EMS 874, that assessment is supposed to do these three things: data literacy, data analysis, and technology applications. So on my professional skills addressed, I'm going to keep those three. I'm going to keep data literacy, I'm going to keep data analysis, and I'm going to keep technology applications. Okay? So I've gotten those three from this particular chart. Now, if you look at your instruction sheet here, you'll see that there's a path that takes you to all those assessment schedules. So whatever key assessment is, wherever your key assessment fits into these multiple programs, then that's where you're going to find out which of those skills are identified for that particular course. So I'll show you that path. So I'm going to go to the InDrive and Colleges, COE, CAPE, EPSB, COE, and now you can find the Advanced Program Assessments, Curriculum Instruction 2019, and now this is the list of all those programs, those assessment schedules. Again, several of you worked with me, or you worked with April or with Michelle to develop these so that all of the key assessments and courses were represented, or the key assessments rather were represented. So whichever key assessment you're working on, you're going to go and find it and see which of those skills it's supposed to represent, and on your template then you're going to identify those. Okay? So once I've identified those, I'm going to delete this red part, which is just an annotation. And then the next thing I'm going to do in this remaining section is I'm going to explain how this particular assessment does these things. Okay? Now, the explanation doesn't have to be pages long. It's probably going to be 2 or 3 sentences per skill so that a reviewer can easily see how we are assessing those particular skills within this assessment. Okay? So, again, this is the template. This is the existing one. The criteria for success stays the same. The rubric is included. Scoring guide rubric, either one is fine. That's included here. And all of that is required before this cover sheet is going to be ready. Okay? So some of you are going to have very minimal changes except for that new section, and others of you may have significant changes depending upon what the key assessment needs to do. But that key assessment does need to fit into whatever this chart was. The key assessment needs to accomplish what it is that we have said it's going to accomplish for everything to be aligned. So once you have that, once you have your cover sheet and you've used you've done your cover sheet, you check the assessment schedule, that's the spreadsheet. You check both of those things, they match. You're going to check this off and finish with this particular section of your work.